Greetings. I'd love to share with you my moringa orchard after 1 year. I've got about 50 trees in the ground now, and it started with really just putting mulch, oak mulch. I had hundreds and hundreds of loads of oak mulch dropped off here at the Grow Moringa Farms in Plant City. Look at this beautiful little moringa tree that's starting to come back after a winter frost. All of these trees were already over 6 foot tall, but I cut everything back really low just before the frosts in about January of this year, and now they're all starting to come back with luscious greens. Now, one of the tips that I've been able to keep these trees really bushy and short over the last 2 months since they've been starting to come back is popping the tops. One of the most important things that you can do to keep your tree short and bushy is popping the top, just like that. Let's take a little tour and I'll show you the moringa orchard just after 1 year. Look at these beautiful baby trees. Now, some of them didn't make it through the frost, but they're placeholders right now where we'll replace the trees. Like, say for instance, this cutting didn't really make it. So we'll go ahead and just use this hole, we'll dig it out, we'll put some more soil in there, and we'll plant another tree, another cutting, or possibly relocate some trees, or even take some of our bigger trees that we have in pots and put them in the ground here. But most of them made it. Look at that. Most of them are coming back really nice. I've already harvested these several times already this year for fresh greens. We do a U-pick every Saturday, actually. Every Saturday you can come to Grow Moringa just for the next few weeks, actually. It's gonna start getting really hot. It's gonna start getting really rainy. So just until about the first week in June, first Saturday in June, and then after that we'll just do first Saturdays. Right now, today is Saturday. You can come by and visit us between 10 and 2. We're at Grow Moringa on Google, as well as next Saturday and possibly the next Saturday after that. And then we're just gonna do first Saturdays for the rest of the summer. So I'm standing on a 2-foot bed of oak mulch. It's all starting to kind of settle in. I'm sinking down my feet. You can see this edge here, this ridge, boom, come down. You can see how it like comes up about a foot or so. I mean, it was a nice big ridge. And I'm on the original level here. You can see the edge here of where I just dropped about 2 foot of oak mulch on the ground. And we pulled up all the plastic. This was a native plant nursery that I worked at 7 years ago. So I pulled up all the plastic. It took me a whole year to pull up plastic and drop hundreds and hundreds of loads of oak mulch here for free oak mulch. I just called all the tree trimming companies, chip drop, everybody, come out here and drop as many moringa trees or drop as much oak as they could. And they did, load by load. And then we just leveled this out by hand. We just took a shovel, took a rake, and just leveled everything out by hand. Now we literally have this nice high rise condition about a foot off the ground. So it's settled like a whole foot. And the settling has created soil and created a really good condition for these trees to start coming back. This tree is coming back from the frost. Look, so this is where we cut it in January, and all of this growth that you see is just really 4 to 6 weeks. And what we do is we come by and we pop tops. Every single week we'll just come by and I'll pop these tops off just like this. So we get some fresh microgreens. We can put a bundle together for people. They grab bundles for like $5 and just raise these trees up. We pull off all the lower leaves so that way we can catch them before they yellow. See, like this is already yellowing out. Might as well catch it before it like completely yellows out. And this is one of the ways to harvest and also utilize your space. So what we do is we have 3 rows here, double rows, staggered, meaning instead of having a single row on a mound or on a row, I went ahead and made the row a little bit wider and have a double staggered row, meaning I have a tree and then it goes 10 feet in the line. So 10 feet, 10 feet, 10 feet, right? So this is 1 foot, and then this is 10 feet past, this is 10 feet past. But on the second row over here, it's staggered. It's like a checkerboard where it's like they're 10 feet apart in the line, but they're 5 foot apart, say like in line like this. Like when you look at them, they're actually 5 feet apart. So boom, 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 boom. It's like a checkered stagger. And I have these rows are these beds are 12 foot wide. So you can see here that they actually create these beds. I actually drove through this bed for the first time last night just to start bringing it down. I have a 12 foot wide drive path with a 12 foot wide bed. Okay, so it's 4 foot to the tree, 4 foot to the other tree, and then 4 foot to the end of the bed. And we're gonna cap each one of these beds. I actually started to cap each one of the beds with, say, like spinach, and I'm gonna put like pollinators and all kinds of stuff. Just really took about 2 years now for the oak mulch and everything to settle down and create soil. 1 year since I started planting this orchard out with sticks and trees from seed. These are mostly trees from cuttings, just to help really get established. And what I did was, there's 2 foot of oak mulch right on the ground. I dug a hole around just to the ground level, and then I filled that with soil. I filled that with compost. I filled that with biochar. I filled that with worm castings and vermiculture. And I filled each one of these holes with soil in the mulch. So we're raised up on 2 feet of mulch. It's like super squishy and soft. But once I start driving through, actually I drove through for the first time here. You can see my first path that I started driving through. And I started driving through here every day just to start really bringing down the drive path. And I love the wide drive path, so that way it brings in airflow. What I noticed about this area, and that's what I did the very first year that I was here, is just studied, analyzed. I took the whole year, watched the water patterns. I took permaculture course with Corinne Brennan about six years ago. And so when I first got to my property, I said, I'm gonna take the first year and I'm just gonna study. I'm gonna analyze. I'm gonna see where the water flows and see where the sun is and see where I should do anything. At that same time, I had hundreds and hundreds of oak mulch loads dropped off here. You can see the edge here still here. I just came through here with the lawnmower last night and kind of just started to show off the ridge. This is the ground level original, which the trees did not do very well in the original ground level. This is the original ground level here. This was the first set of trees that I planted in the ground, and they're not doing well here. It's too boggy, it's too low, but they're still alive. It's too close to the pines. There's a bunch of pine trees here. It's too close to the pines. You don't want to get very close to the pines. And I'm gonna pull all this line out. I have a whole line of trees here. You can see this. It's not doing well, but it's coming back. It's coming back from down here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this whole line and take it out. This is gonna end up becoming our drive path. And then we'll have a raised up orchard on 2 foot of oak mulch. It's gonna settle down over the year to 2 years from now to just be about a foot off the ground, regular level, but it's creating soil and it's organic matter, and it's just, Florida soil is just sand. And so if you can utilize just waste streams. So we utilized the waste stream. We got a bunch of free oak mulch chips. We called all the local tree trimming companies. I mean, look at this. And so we still have these trees up on mountains. So we created the drive path. We just kind of took a little bit out just to kind of create a drive path through here. But we have these trees on mounds, big mounds, 12 foot wide mounds. You see that? And then a drive path, a 12 foot wide drive path. Then the tree goes 4 foot to the other tree, and then 4 foot to the end. And we can do things in the middle. We can start planting out, interplanting other things. Moringa is a pioneer crop. So it's really just the start. You know, it's getting things started out here. This was a savior. This is a Moringa sanctuary. We saved this tree actually from another location. One of our members was moving and needed us to grab it. So we grabbed this tree and put it right here. Now we got a whole line right here on the edge of the front line. And we're just starting to keep this thing clean, and this is our drive path here. We're gonna go all the way down with that. I'm gonna start driving through here just to kind of push it down. And then we have our beds. Double row, staggered, 10 feet in the line, and then stagger every 5 feet or so, you know? So that way it creates like a checkerboard. Beautiful. I'm Kendrick Henry. Please like this video. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel here, Grow Moringa. Make sure you hit that bell so that way you get all the updates. If you want to learn anything about growing moringa, I have all the answers. This is our orchard style, but I also have like a hedge condition here. This is like where we do our hedge. I'll show you the hedge. This is where we have everything really close together. You can see we just been putting sticks in. We're making like a fence. Doing the same thing, staggered. But this, instead of every 10 feet, is every like 2 feet. And we just have this down here in the middle just to show you kind of like how you can lay the sticks on the ground and then they'll regrow. Or you can just take cuttings and stick them up like this and they'll also regrow. That's our hedge condition. And then we have our intensive bed over there, which you've seen in another video. But I'm really excited about this orchard. We'll go ahead and like pull a little bit out here so that way we can start driving through this one. And every day I'll just come through and I'll start driving through, and it'll drop the drive path to where water will actually come off the beds and into the drive zone. And then we'll have areas where we can pool water. Everything will kind of flow off into the ditches. We're really managing the water systems here because it rains for like 30 days in the summertime. And we'll get a lot of these ones that didn't make it replaced. We'll replace a lot of these, but they're just coming back. Like these trees were huge, actually, 6 foot tall, like just before the frost. Some of them are just starting to come back and getting a root system formed. I don't know if you can kind of see that there. Just starting to really come back. This root system's just forming, so we're just gonna keep it in there. We're not gonna touch it. This one's just starting to come back too. Just trying to keep the grass clear from this area, and the grass is already starting to creep up in all the other areas, but look at this, popping tops, pulling lowers, and every time you pop the top, it splits. What a beautiful, beautiful thing nature does. Pop the top, it splits. You know, this came back from this cutting, came back with 3 shoots. So we're forming this tree to have a beautiful rotunda. I took out all the centers, and I can teach you anything else that you may want to know about moringa inside the Grow Moringa Collective. Join us at growmoringa.com, please, so you can come in and learn and become a moringa farmer. Much love. Really appreciate you. I'm Kendrick Henry, your local USA moringa farmer. Ciao.